guys, this is me updating for day 86 and 87. Yesterday was a public holiday, so I did some filming. I filmed some of the work that I did, but I didn't do any talking, so I just figured I'd just do it all in one big update today, kind of like how I do the weekends, essentially, just, you know, a bit shorter, I suppose. I don't know, not thinking straight this morning. As for yesterday, I printed out the layouts for page, I think it's 13, can't remember. Like if I was at home, I'd know, I just can't remember right now. But I printed out the pencils, printed out the layout, the thumbs. Put that onto the light box and did all the penciling for that. This was another one where I wish I'd spent a bit more time doing the digital pencils, but it was more so a case of, just because of my current setup where my computer is in the living room, I can't really do any digital drawing because the living room is right across from my bedroom. So if I worked in there, from like 4:30 in the morning, it's going to wake the family up. So I didn't want to do that. That's why I sort of hide in my little studio at the end of the house and put music on and things like that. So I decided, well, I needed work to do, so I just printed that out and worked on that. Kind of odd thinking, like, I had a public holiday, I had all day to at least do 30 minutes, but I still decided to get up early. I suppose that routine, just in it now. I still struggle to get up early in those mornings. Sometimes I might not get up till 5 o'clock. But, I still try and aim for 4:30 if I can. But yeah. So yesterday was an odd day. Well, the day before was a bad day. We had a pretty big mistake that happened at work, which is partially my fault, which I'd fixed. But it was all sorted by the end of the day, and then by the time it's all sort of been sorted, but it's been on the edge of my mind for the past day or so. It's still sort of on the tip of my mind now going into work. I'm just waiting for someone to just have a go at me and tell me off for doing something wrong. And there's a couple of things that triggered me yesterday that put me into a really bad state. And the first one was, as you guys know, when I was dieting at the beginning of the year, I lost a fair chunk of weight. I've since sort of stopped dieting, become a little bit more relaxed. I still follow some of the habits that I created, like fasting in the morning, so I don't eat until lunchtime, to increase my metabolism time, my fat burning time. I still do that, but the temptation of sugar, I don't really have that willpower against it anymore. So anyway, I guess today I noticed that one of the shirts that I was fitting back into after I'd lost all this weight was just a little bit tighter yesterday, and I didn't really think much of it. It was just more of a thought of, oh well, I better get back on the wagon and try and lose that weight again. Looking back now, should have realized that would have been a trigger for me to go into sort of in that downward slope, plus all the work stuff, and then on top of that, with Jazz and I moving, we're trying to scrimmage to put all the money together to pay our bond, and we're trying to do this thing where you can get a sort of a government loan, but they're just making us jump through hoops, and we've only got about a week left to try and do that and get a check from them to pay for it. It's really frustrating, and then on top of that is what date do we move out? We're going to be paying double rent, and it's just a nightmare at the moment. Like all manageable things and things that'll be over with in a couple of weeks, but everything just sort of ramped up, and I was just got into a really shitty state. To the point where, like, last night I was like, I didn't really want to draw. Like normally I'd be happy to just continue working at night. And the other thing is, like, I wanted to get a lot of work done yesterday, and that didn't happen either. I ended up having a nap with April for like 3 hours, which is not normal. I don't normally have like a 3-hour nap, and I think that was just, you know, I sort of realized that my body really needed that. But once I woke up from the nap, that's when I really started to, everything sort of hit me mentally, and I was just in a really bad snappy state, and I was trying to fix, internet went down on Tuesday, so I was trying to fix that after I woke up. And I know yesterday was just a day of really little insignificant things that created a big problem personally for me, to a point where I got I needed to reach out, and I didn't know who to reach out to. Sort of the breaking point for me was, I was sitting there, I was scanning some stuff. I was scanning and printing some stuff for Jazz to take to the council office or whatever to apply for this loan tomorrow. You know, all the extra stuff they wanted us to do. So I'll do this, I'll get this out of the way. And April kept coming up and just wanted to hop on my lap. And that was the last thing I wanted. Like, I was just like, hey, just leave me alone, just let me do my thing. And I just kept going like, no, just leave me alone, go away. And like every time I'd do that, my mind would snap and just be like, what are you doing? Like, this is your kid, man. Like, she just wants to love you, and she doesn't want to, like, she's not intentionally being annoying. She just wants to see what you're doing and be involved with you. And my mind was in the space where like, I just want to be left the fuck alone right now. And it was so conflicting, and I was like, fuck, it just made me feel like a shitty dad and just a shitty person. And I didn't really know what to do. So like, I was trying to suppress as many negative thoughts as I had, but you know, I could only really do so much. So what I ended up doing was actually get in touch with a friend who I haven't spoken to in a long time, who's a father, and I know he's gone through a lot himself. I don't know, like, for some reason I felt like he was the person to reach out to, and I felt really bad talking about it and mentioning it to him and saying, hey man, you know, these are all my problems, I'm just going to throw them on top of you. And like, I was really apologetic about it, but and I was really hesitant to just hit that send button, and but I did. And as soon as I sent that, like, felt this weight lift, like, you know, I'd done something proactive about my issues, and I'd gotten it out there, and something, you know, just releasing a valve, I suppose, and that helped after that. Like, it definitely sort of lifted my spirits a little bit, made me sort of forget about the problems, and just forget about just sort of ease my mind over the problems. So not forgetting the problems exist, but just going, okay, just, you know, these aren't bad, you know, you can figure this out. And then he replied back to me a couple of hours later with this, you know, beautiful reply. It was quite long, and you know, really broke things down to try and help me out, and I'm super appreciative of it. And I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't have a reason to, because I know this isn't a vlog about depression and everything, but I'm trying to reflect on everything, and I'm looking back at everything that's going on in my life, plus trying to do this challenge. I've definitely been overexerting myself a little bit, to a point where I've been okay. I haven't reached the maximum point where I'm just exhausted and collapsed or whatever. But this was an amalgamation of everything joining and going, dude, stop, just stop. And that's what I did last night. I stopped. I still drew, but I just drew some fan art because it was fun. I didn't have to think. We were watching Spider-Man because we're going to see Avengers on Friday, so that was something to look forward to, which is sort of nice to have on the edge of my mind as well. So it's more a matter of yeah, I understand that there's a lot of artists out there who also suffer with depression, and I've known people go through the 100-day challenge or even stop doing the 100-day challenge because of their depression. It's really beaten them up. I was thinking about giving up yesterday, just saying, no, fuck it, I'm not going to do this challenge anymore. Like, I'm just going to work on the comic in my own time. I don't care, whatever. But I mean, I've got 13 days left. Oh, 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks left. It seems so stupid to stop now when I've come so far. You know, I just need to give myself that little bit more push in doing, you know, continuing on. But what I ended up doing this morning as a result of yesterday is I slept in. I didn't get up until I think 20 past 5. So I slept in for maybe an extra hour. I didn't intend to get up at 4:30 and then my alarm went off. I was like, nah, just have a rest. I got up at 20 past 5, hopped into the studio, did 30 minutes of drawing. All I did was ink a panel, but yeah, it was just relaxing. I put some relaxing music on. The outside was, on the edge of my mind was work again. So I've been stressing about that this morning. But everything else is sort of lifted. I'm just trying to prevent myself from having these redundant arguments in my mind. I don't know if you guys are the same, but when it's very common, folks who have stress, anxiety, and depression, if there's a conflict or they feel that there's a conflict or an unresolved conflict, they start to create or depict this scenario in their mind, and it can go very negative very quickly, and that's what my mind's trying to do. So I'm trying to stop myself from thinking that way, and trying to notice it and stop. If you guys feel that way, just it's not easy, but if you can tell your mind to just, hey, stop, this isn't a solution, and this isn't doing me any good, this isn't actually creating any resolutions or anything, this is just me fighting myself. You just got to put a stop to it, or at least try to. It can be hard, but you'll get there. But yeah, so I did my 30 minutes this morning. I'm happy with what I did. I'm really happy that I only did 30 minutes this morning. I'm proud of myself for recognizing the problem and tackling it before it got worse and worse and worse. Last year was a very horrible year for me, depression wise. I don't want to go back to that, so I'm trying to remember what I did and how I did it. Art's been a great factor. When I look at the very beginning of this year, when I started Monkey Junk, I was really deep into an amazing diet, losing weight, eating extremely healthily. I was drawing every day, I was creating comics, I was also creating art and everything like that. And I was working, work was still stressful, we were still busy, but we got through it. One of those things that's missing these days is my diet. So I'm going to get back onto my diet and start eating healthy. Trying to be a bit more active and do some more exercise. So that's what I've started to do today. I started this morning by having a coffee with no milk. It's only a small little change, but it's a big change. Milk has sugar in it, and I only want to intake X amount of sugar. So this coffee that I have here is the only coffee that I'll have today with milk in it. It's almost like my treat coffee on my way to work. So hopefully today goes alright. I'm expecting to be yelled at, but that, as far as I see, is going to be the worst of it. Things will carry on. I'll get back to work. One mistake amongst thousands of correct jobs going through. It's always the squeaky wheel gets the oil, as they say. So it only takes one wrong thing to happen for everyone to notice. But when you're doing well, no one cares, and you just glide along happily. This is my squeaky wheel, and I oiled it on Tuesday, and hopefully that's fixed the problem. But I'm still expecting someone to say something, and that's all that that's going to happen. Whatever. Anyway, I did some drawing, so here's some time lapses for you at the end of this video. Sorry this is a very long-winded, probably depressing episode, but if it helps and you've made it this far, I want you to know that it actually really helps me just talking about it right now. And I want to end this on a note and just say, if you're ever feeling this way, if you're ever feeling doubtful or just in a really bad way, just reach out. If you don't know anyone to reach out to me. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm always available, and I'm here to listen if you just need to vent. You know, but find someone to talk to. Don't keep it to yourself, because you're only hurting yourself in the long run. I'm going to go listen to one of my favoritist happy albums, Smash Mouth. This is probably not like the best album in the world, but it makes me super happy, so I'm going to listen to it. I've got about 10 minutes before I get to work, so hopefully this will lift my spirits. Alright guys, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow for hopefully a much happier episode.